It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission really is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard-working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we talk to the one and only AJ, by the way, and he'll be talking about really how to have a profitable, successful business. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but he says he's going to do that. What's going on, AJ? How you doing, man?
What's going on, sir? It's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's great to see you. Some folks I never get a chance to meet, by the way, but you and I had a chance to at least have eye-to-eye contact, and that's always pretty cool. I've got to ask the question because folks showed up and they're like, I can have a profitable business. I can build this thing. Number one, I guess I have is, why are entrepreneurs struggling these days to have a highly profitable and successful business? They've got Instagram, so they should be able to go look at something and instantly get excited and find what they need. They've got Google, they've got YouTube, they even got AI, man. Yet many businesses are struggling. So here's the question: why are businesses struggling, man? What's going on?
From my perspective, the businesses are struggling because we have a hard time realizing the value that we can actually help other people solve. Um, we are inundated with marketing right now. So the best way to break through the noise is to actually understand the problem you solve, the value that you can deliver to people. And for the average entrepreneur, they don't know what that is. They're trying, and most of us are hopepreneurs. Like, we hope we can make money. We hope we got something that people want, but we haven't yet become, as you would say, a happy entrepreneur that would wake up every day and say, you know what, this is the problem I solved. I know exactly who I solved it for. I know how to speak their language. I know the conversation that they're having in their head, so I can just join the conversation, and then they know that I know what they're talking about. And for most people, that isn't how we talk to people now. And because they're inundated with your Instagram, with your YouTubes, they're hearing all of this stuff, and it's hard to break through the noise. And that's why we struggle, because we don't know how to break through the noise. But if you can ever break through the noise, entrepreneurship becomes a lot easier.
He's talking about breaking through the noise. So let's talk to two type of individuals right now. There's one group of folks, just to let you know, the audience. A number of audience are dualpreneurs, by the way, AJ. They work full-time jobs. They're full-time entrepreneurs. Many of them are moms or dad, or they're in a relationship. Some of them have kids. Some of them are caregivers like I am. They got to take care of those folks. Some of them are involved in their community or in their faith community. And somebody listened to me right now, and she's saying, Shay, I check all those boxes and then some, okay? Let's talk to that group. They might be wondering, look, AJ, I'm cool. I know my big why. I know my purpose and my passion. I just am not getting in front of people that I are qualified. I can't get people to even know about me. So I guess my question is, why are they struggling? Let me be specific, to get in front of the right people. They're like, Shay, you put them in front of me, I got them. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times and I can say this because I help people get leads. I help people talk to those people, find those people that they need. So my question to them is always like, people say it all the time. Who's your target audience? Who's your avatar? And honestly, most people have a hard time determining who that person is. They say, I can help everybody. I work with entrepreneurs. That's a very general statement, right? Do you work with startup entrepreneurs? Do you work with seekers? Do you work with operator owners? Right? It's like so many different groups, and you have to know who that person is that you talk to so that you can have a conversation. Because the truth is, we don't work with everybody. The truth is that for your segment of business, there's a strategic person that you work with, and you need to be able to call them out. So I know that I'm not going to work with a company that has 10 employees, that have a marketing department. I'm going to be working with a specific entrepreneur that they know who they're targeting, they know the problem that they solve, and they just need the leads to get in front to then have the conversation, right? But you have to know that. You have to be able to
I
call
didn't
that
get
person
that.
out.
Could you try again?
To be able to call that person out. That's my other computer talking. Sorry about that. But you have to be able to call them out, and you have to be able to like legit.
One, I think it's so critical that you're talking about generating leads because at the end of the day, my philosophy is leads represent hope, right? No leads, well, you don't have any freaking hope. And that's one of the key core ingredients of your company is helping them generate leads. But they always say, I want them to already be qualified. They're like, Jay, I just want qualified leads. Do leads come in qualified? You made a statement, and I met you at an event that I thought was really important, which was you don't just find qualified leads. Take a moment to talk about the difference between a lead, so we understand we're all on the same page. What is a lead? And then a qualified lead.
Right. So a lead is anybody. That's the thing most people don't realize. Anybody you talk to is a lead, right? But that doesn't mean that they're an engaged lead, and then they have to be qualified. So you have like almost three level of leads. You have a lead that just as a person that you know. These are all of your friends on Facebook, on social media, people that you run into every day. I know you said you have some network marketers. Network marketers see leads every time they go out. Anytime they come against anybody, that is a lead, right? But then the first thing you have to do is see if they have a problem. See if they have a problem that you can solve. And you have to understand how to strategically have those conversations to figure out, do you have a problem I can solve? Because every lead isn't a lead for me, right? Every lead is a lead, but that doesn't mean that they're a lead for me. So then once realize that they have that problem, then that's when I say, okay, cool, you're engaged. Now can I qualify you? But I think we jumped the gun, right? We jumped the gun on that. So I have this thing that I use called the payment ATM, right? And I like that term because it shows, right? ATMs, we know that's where we get money from, and essentially that's what people are trying to do with leads. They're trying to get money from it. But ATM is an acronym for attention, time, and then money, right? So when I'm dealing with a lead, the first thing I want to do is I want to see if the problem that they have is worth my attention and if my solution is worth their attention. I want to see if I can give them the right amount of time and if they're going to give me their time back. And then if we can do those things, now I qualified them to see if I can give them value and they can give me money, right? But those are steps that you have to take in that process to just make sure that we're talking to the right people. And not only and I want people to understand that I said if I can give them value first and then they give me money. Because a lot of people are struggling to make profit in business because we're good enough to get their money, but then we don't give them value that they wanted for their money, right? And now our name is bad in the street. So we have to look at it as that way. And this is the thing in business, you're gonna have to talk to a lot of people. That's why I believe in. They used to have this thing, right? In business, ABC, always be closing, right? And
That's old school, boy.
old school, always be
That's a
closing.
1,000 years ago. Yeah.
But the truth is, we should always be connected. That's what they should have taught us. Always be connecting because you may not have the issue that I solve. But if I'm good at letting you know the issue I solve, I'll be top of mind when you have conversations with others, and you can tell them, "Oh, I know a guy. My guy AJ do that, right?" But I can only do that if number one, I had integrity enough when we were talking to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm listening to the problems that you have. I don't solve those. That's not in my wheelhouse. This is what I this is what I do. I don't solve that. I may know somebody that does solve that, and I need to be able to tell you that. And people respect me more when I'm like, oh no, I don't do that. I don't do Facebook ads. I don't do that. That's not what I do, right? Um,
Yeah.
and if that's what you're looking for, that's what's up. But that's not me. I don't do this type of marketing. I know exactly where I am. And when you're able to have those conversations, I think that's when you start building up that trust and that credibility. And that's when the payment ATM comes into place because I have your attention, I have your time, and then once I give you value, you'll give me money.
I love it. And it's folks that are listening right now, like, Shay, that's spot on. I feel him. I hear what he's saying over here, but I'm not sure who this person is. You just got right going, Shay. I don't even know his backstory. I mean, I like what I'm hearing. Can you slow down? I hear you. So, now, of course, most folks might already know you, AJ. Somebody's already Googled you. Somebody's already been to your website. It's already on your social media, but a number of folks have not. So let's slow down for a second if we can. Can you take a moment? You know the question. What's the backstory of AJ? And then what was that defining moment that led him to saying, you know what? This is my jam and this is my passion.
So the backstory, I'll give you a very quick backstory. Oldest of 8 children from a single parent household. Grew up with in the church where I was programmed to think that all rich people was going to hell. Had to change a lot of that. I guess my life changed in my car when I was homeless in Atlanta, Georgia in 2014 because I realized that if I didn't change my programming, I wouldn't change my life. And we are where we are because of our programming, and the only way we'll get out of it is by changing our programming. So that's where it started. From after I changed my programming, 2 years after being in my car, I gave 2 cars away for Christmas to complete strangers because I realized while I was in my car and I felt I had nothing, I still had a car. 2 years after that, I moved to Medellin, Colombia, in South America, where I live today, and I've been living down here for 6 years. And my thing is find people that have the problem that I solve and give them that value. So that's who I am. And I think business is like a puzzle, right? And what we should always be doing is looking for the puzzle that needs our piece. And that's another thing with leads, right? You have to understand where you fit in the puzzle, because sometimes I used to have an aunt, my aunt Viola. She used to do these huge puzzles of like 5,000 pieces, and the first thing she would do is she would find the corners, right, and then she would build the border. Now, if we don't know where we fit in the corner, let's say we're a middle piece, even though we're a piece for her bit for her puzzle, she doesn't need us right now. We need to know where people are in building their puzzle to even know if we can be helpful to add value, because all value isn't needed in all places in the business. So that's another thing with being in the leads process. You have to know where they are in their puzzle and where you fit. Are you a corner? Are you a middle? Are you a border? Where are you in that puzzle piece? So when I have that conversation, it makes sense. And now I'm not wasting your time because I'm talking to Shay, and Shay is like, oh man, this is where I am. I'm like, oh, you don't need me yet. I'm gonna tell you when you're gonna need me, right? And when you get to this place, that's when you need me. But until you reach that place, do what you're doing, right? I earn more respect from you by saying that than trying to fit my way into your puzzle because you will need me in the future. That's not smart. That's not how you build trust and integrity.
I love it, man. And what do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days? I see as you were talking about it, the excitement got in. He started waking up, ladies and gentlemen, like, yeah, okay, you down my lane now. You down my lane. You seem to be having fun, man. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days?
Man, honestly, it's watching people understand that freedom is possible. Like I've been free now for 6 years, and my goal and hope is that everybody gets a chance to be free, man. Live life on their own terms. That's where that's where the profit comes from the business. So that's my excitement, man. Watching people get it, watching people come down to Medellin, Colombia, where I am for these retreats, and realize it's possible, and then go get it so that they can have time and location independence, and that's what it's about for me.
Man, it's good stuff. I love it. You know, it's a good segue to a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who know what we're about to do, you can go ahead and say those magical words. I know you wait every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to share those words. You can go ahead and say them. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you, by the way. And for all the new folks who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start, It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past might be, or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for AJ on the other side is really twofold. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, maybe your life's been perfect. We're going to find out in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. When was a setback you had in your life? And then how were you able to bounce back from it?
So when I hear those words, today is my January 1st, man, that makes me happy because I always think about how we start over on January 1st and how we can, man, we have so many expectations for the year. So that just excites me because it's like, yo, it's a new beginning. It's a new time for me to create what I want to create, and I have the ability, and it's almost a new hope that we get when we have the new year. So probably the setback would actually be being homeless in Atlanta, because I was mad. I was mad at the world. I was mad at God. I was mad at life, because I didn't think it was fair that I was a good dude. I was doing the right things, and my life had me sleeping in the car. Um, and once again, when I realized that I could become more, by changing my programming and by shifting the way I believe, because it says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." And as I started changing my thinking, man, my life started changing. So, man, I would encourage anybody, like, if you don't like where you are, change your thought process, change how you view yourself, because the like, if you could, if my I used to have a mentor, Dennis Vincent, and he would always tell me, man, he would say, AJ, the longest path to success is from your head to your heart. He said that's the longest journey.
Okay. I found this on the web for the longest path to success.
One.
So I had a mentor named Dennis Vincent, and he used to always tell me, he would say, AJ, most people don't realize that the longest path to success, the longest journey is from your head to your heart. And if you could ever realize that, success becomes easy. And that's probably the thing that I would share with most people. It's building a coherence from your head to your heart. Because for a lot of us, the things that we say we want, there's an inner battle for some reason. Like I was having, you want to be rich, but you feel like rich people are evil. You want to be rich, but you feel like it's easier for a camel to enter into the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. It's so many things that we've been taught that affects us, that keeps us from actually getting to the successes we want because we're having an inner battle. But if you could ever stop that battle and get coherence in your thoughts and your heart, man, life takes off.
Spot on, man. I love it. Great example. And, it leads me to a question I get a chance to ask, and we have some time to ask the question today, which is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? And I'll frame it for the audience so they kind of understand. I'm not actually come off the mountain with the 10 Commandments here, anything like that, by the way. You've probably read more books than you can remember these days. I don't know how many YouTube and other videos we've watched and seminars and all the stuff we've done these days. It's just, I don't know, we're well over so many hours. But if you had to step back and say, Shay, business, here's something that was passed on to me that I'm going to pass on to the audience. What would it be? So the question, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given, man?
Give more in value than you receive in payment. As a business owner, that's probably one of the best pieces of advice that I was ever taught. Give more in value than you receive in payment. And if you do that, people will always want to work with you. Customers will always want to give you money when they need you because they know they're going to get more in value than they give you in payment. That's the best. That's the best advice I can give a business owner.
I love it. When you're not out saving the world, man, what do you do for fun these days?
Man, I am a water person. I love water. I love snorkeling. I love scuba diving. Anything that I'm doing is leading to water somewhere. So yeah, that's my jam. I love the water.
Man, that's kind of cool. Well, let me say two things. Number one, thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. But before we close out, two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm taking these days, if any? And number two, how can folks best connect with you? Maybe there's a way that folks that are watching you say, hey, here's what you need to do to be able to stay in the conversation with AJ over and beyond the time that we have now.
So the first part, if you are a starting entrepreneur, I work with entrepreneurs all the way from starter to basically operator. Operator, that's from zero to about 300,000. Once you get over the 300,000 mark, you need to go work with somebody else because you're looking for more of an agency type then. So this is if you work with B2B. So if you work business to business and you're looking to get have businesses that you want to reach out to, I can definitely help with that. If you're B2C, sometimes, but very rarely, you have to really be honed in on your niche for me to help you with that. And sometimes I can't help at all. But primarily, entrepreneurs that work B2B that are from the 0 to 300,000 mark that have a problem with getting in front of the eyeballs of their ideal clients via email and also speaking, because I've started helping people get on stages with podcast bookings and speaking engagements as well. So yeah, and if you want to find me on social media is AJ Vassar. Yeah, hit me up.
Yeah, hit them up, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say thanks so much for being on the show. I know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So you're giving us the most precious resource you have, which is your time. So thanks for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I appreciate it, man.
It was my pleasure, sir. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you to viewers, because without you, we really don't have a show. So we appreciate you showing up. Appreciate you participating. I know I love reading the comments. It's always cool. Some of you hit the like button, depending on what platform you're watching. But if you can, if there's a button, hit the share button. Like, this is one of those messages. I want you to pay it forward to another community. I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that no matter what's going on, that you really are special. You really are unique. You've got this great gift inside you. And I know it sounds so hokey dokey and all that, but it's true. You're here for a purpose. And no matter what's going on in your life, whether you're doing really, really well, and there's that next level, or life's hit you with the punch you didn't see coming. One thing I know to be true is that today, if you're breathing, is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason, your best is still yet to come. They ain't seen it. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name ain't changed. Still Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. We out. Thanks a lot, AJ. I'll see y'all later. Peace. See you on the other side, everybody. Bye-bye.